everybody, and welcome to another Top 5 Records video. Today I'm going to be talking about a band that's been very close to my heart because the music they made, those were the first songs I played in my own first band, a cover band. The songs are incredibly good, but there's also a heaviness to it. They are, in my opinion, the best heavy metal band. And if you're not accustomed to heavy metal, well, don't be scared, because Black Sabbath is it's hard music. It's tough, hard music, but it's not tough to get into, and it's not rough. Their hardness lies within dynamics, within finding moments to rest. They do not play fast. As a matter of fact, they play very slow, but they have very nice melodies. They have lyrics and a voice that's sometimes a bit scary, especially if you listen to the vinyl versions. You understand that this might have been scary at that moment in time, but they never lose their rock and roll sensation. The fact that you just want to bump along, that you just want to jump off your feet. I went to a Black Sabbath show during their goodbye tour, and I ended up in a mosh pit. I mean, they, till their last tour, were a nice, rough band. But they are very nice to start with if you want to know more about heavy metal. They're easy to get into because they have a very good sense of melody. Now, let's start off with my top 5 list. I'm going to kick it off with Black Sabbath Volume 4, which is a very, very good album. Nevertheless, I've been in doubt to put Master of Reality on this spot. It's been a tie. But why did I put on this one? 2 reasons. Mainly because at this moment in time, they were very interesting. They were somewhat experimenting in a sense, where can we take this genre to? There is something very authentic and typical to their sound in the studio. There's a mysticism going on. It's interesting. But this album has 2 songs, well, which Master of Reality doesn't really have. First song is Wheels of Confusion. I really, really love that song. And the other is Snowblind. Now, this is metal magic. When you put this on, it takes over the room. It's awesome. As I said, there's mysticism to these songs. This band is doing things which you not easily are gonna find anywhere else. And this was a very interesting moment in time. The number 4 on this spot. It's Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. And I really like this one for the reason of this isn't as majestic as to the albums before this one. You hear that they are on the edge of breaking through in another dimension of heavy metal, a more copied sense of heavy metal, but it rocks. I mean, this album really, really rocks. It starts off with Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, and Ozzy Osbourne is shouting in here. The way the guitar sounds, I mean, the rough, full quality of the sound is all over the place. Killing Yourself to Live, Cadabra. I mean, this is an album which is quite the experience, and it rocks so hard. It's one of the last good Black Sabbath albums with Ozzy Osbourne. And you hear this is a different band, this is a different sound, this is a different way of songwriting than Black Sabbath Volume 4 or Master of Reality or the other records before this one. But it's great, it's awesome, it's a great element of the journey of Black Sabbath. Black Sabbath Bloody Sabbath on the number 4. Now the number 3, this one's very close to me. It's Heaven and Hell. Now, after Ozzy Osbourne left, Black Sabbath had a spot to fill, but how do you fill the spot of someone who, how can I say, his image might have been, at the time that he left, bigger than his vocal capacity? Nevertheless, I do not think we can ever underestimate the quality of his sound, of his voice, and the sound of it on these early records. But they had a spot to fill. What do? They went along with Ronnie James Dio. And I have admiration for Ozzy Osbourne as a singer, of course, and he is an interesting and he's a very important singer. Ronnie James Dio is the opera singer of rock and metal. This man sounds so good, and he is such a brilliant songwriter, Ronnie James Dio. Anyone who doesn't know, Ronnie James Dio started his career off with Elf. He played in the front show, or he was the opening act of Deep Purple. Richie Blackmore heard Ronnie James Dio and said, "I'm out of Deep Purple, I'm gonna start Rainbow." The first 3 Rainbow albums with Ronnie James Dio are brilliant, just masterpieces. Ronnie James Dio has this amazing, full sounding voice, and when he came with Black Sabbath, he made 2 legendary albums. The Mob Rules is also a very good album, but Heaven and Hell is my favorite. Imagine an album kicking off with Neon Nights, which is a nice, rough opener, you know. Then you go to Children of the Sea, which is a very beautiful ballad, which rocks out when it's necessary. Beautiful, beautiful, gorgeous ballad. One of the all-time best Ronnie James Dio songs. Then you have a song, Lady Evil, which is okay, it's good. And then you end off the first side of this album with the song Heaven and Hell. Heaven and Hell is one of the best rockers of all time. I mean, the way Dio's voice takes over, it's like he's singing in a full opera house. It has strength, it has power, it has melody. It is such a gorgeous song. And then, I mean, the rest of the album is also good. I mean, Wishing Well, awesome album. And if any other band would have done this, you know, throughout their career, this must have been their best album ever. But Black Sabbath is Black Sabbath, and Black Sabbath has so much more to offer. Namely, on the number 2 spot, Black Sabbath, their first album, which is gorgeous mysticism, gorgeous. This album, the first thing the world hears in 1970 is the song Black Sabbath. You hear a rain, you hear a church bell, and then this guitar jumps in. It's an experience. The first time you hear that song, it is an experience, and every time after that, it's an experience. It is so beautiful. There's something new going on in music, and this has not been copied. This has not been overdone afterwards. They recorded this album in a day. In a day. The Wizard, N.I.B., Evil Woman. I mean, so many great songs. It listens like a movie. It's awesome. It's awesome. If you have not heard this, go out, buy it, listen. It's awesome. And which brings me to the number 1 spot. And everybody already saw this one coming, of course. Paranoid. And Paranoid is such an awesome album. I mean, there's not a bad song on this. They rarely had bad songs, by the way, but these are all classics. I mean, to start off an album with War Pigs. Ba-dum, ba-ba-ba. Paranoid, Iron Man, Planet Caravan, Electric Funeral, Hand of Doom, Fairies Wear Boots. This is song after song are brilliant rockers, metal. It takes you to different places. Paranoid is one of the all-time best albums ever. And what an achievement. What a masterpiece of music. Now, this was my top 5 list of Black Sabbath. I'm very curious what you guys think. So leave a comment and agree, disagree. I really like a good discussion going on, but I hope to see you at my next video. So see you next time.